evidence experts there. You have the sheriff there. You have Michigan State Police, the FBI, all acting on a tip. They had the helicopter from the law enforcement over the river. They came up, they found a child's body.
A father and son out on a fishing trip made the gruesome discovery. They said they noticed a foul odor near the river, and they followed a smell to a cement block.
I can tell you that there are two roads that parallel, you're probably seeing them, that parallel the river in that area. It's about 2-3 miles west of where this girl lived. They're going to have to painstakingly remove the concrete during the autopsy to determine cause of death. There was apparently a shallow grave where she was placed in this just a few feet off the riverbank, and they said what appeared to be concrete had been poured over the body.
It's a rural area along the river, the actual burial site.
Straight out to psychologist and author of Love Prescription, Dr. Jeff Gardier, joining us. Jeff, we've seen a lot of homicides. We see homicides every day, but we don't see the homicide of a 5-year-old girl and the killer going out to a riverbank, digging a shallow grave, lying the child in it, and pouring wet cement over her. So what is the thinking of this killer?
Well, this is, of course, someone who perhaps is a cold-blooded psychopathic killer. But analytically looking at this, Nancy, using the cement is a way for them to even cover up how heinous this crime is from their own consciousness. One thing that we do know about this is that this individual perhaps is a person who not only hates children, but is some sort of a sex offender. I think that we can make an educated guess about.
To Cheryl McCollum, director of a cold case squad, Pine Lake PD. Cheryl, when it is a random murder, typically the body will just be discarded out in an open field, in a dumpster.
Exactly.
But when you know your victim, that is when I have noticed the killer takes great pains to hide the body.
No question. This guy knew the area, Nancy. I'm telling you, he took his time because he knew that he could. This was not somebody snatched the child, harmed her, pulled her to the side and threw her down the embankment. He took her down the embankment. He dug a grave. He did a mixture of cement or concrete and poured it over her, then discarded all the materials, went back up and drove off. He was very comfortable. He knew the area. He was not in a hurry.
I want to go to Dr. Marty McCary, physician and professor of public health out of Johns Hopkins. Dr. McCary, it's great to see you again. Dr. McCary, how would the cement poured over the skin, the face, the hair of the little girl in any way deter getting clues, getting evidence?
Well, it could actually, Nancy, act as a sort of preservative. You know, water is a terrible force to sort of detract from evidence, but as forensic medical examiners look over the next few days, they're going to be looking for characteristic fractures, for bruises, for choke signs, for grip marks, any signs that could indicate the mechanism of how she might have died.
When you say choke signs, what do you mean?
Characteristically, there can be bruises in the carotid vessels around the neck and the trachea that are pathognomonic, which means that they could only and absolutely indicate a strangulation around the neck.
Would those bruises, those hematomas still be there 11 days later?
Absolutely. They would stay there for a matter of a few months, so they're still within a window where they can get some very good evidence. And the dental records really are not going to nail it for 100% certainty. They're going to use DNA because 99% is not good enough for looking at the death penalty, it's not good enough for the family, and it's not good enough to really get closure on what happened.
But, doctor, only one person has the same exact dental x-rays.
Mm-hmm. Well, it theoretically is going to be one of those situations where you're going to get every piece of scientific data possible if you're going to go all the way.
I want to go back to the scene, standing by Rupa Mikulaneni. Rupa, what more do we know about the clues that have been left behind?
Well, Nancy, right now we know that the police are sifting through the crime scene area, the banks of the river, the water, trying to look for any little piece of evidence, anything that could tie the perpetrator to the crime scene and to the crime. What we also know is, and what the sheriff's office has been leaning towards, this possibly being more than one individual, although no one is sure.
Whoa, hold on, hold on. Police, FBI think that there may be more than one killer involved?
They have not ruled out that possibility.
Okay, I'm not quite seeing how that could be. Why do you say that? Cheryl McCollum, how could that be?
Well, I mean, Nancy, it might be a situation where, again, one person was there digging the grave, getting ready for her to come back. They could have been talking on the cell phone. This person, or persons, if that's what they're, thinking, it looks like it could have been a team effort because, again, you've got a lot of material there that one person could have brought to
So
scene.
not only do you have a killer, you got someone willing to help hide a 5-year-old's body. Bradford Cohen, Miami, Daniel Kane, Atlanta. Daniel Kane, that jurisdiction does not have the death penalty. If the offender is caught, what are they looking at?
They're looking at life in prison or life in prison without parole.
Cohen?
He's exactly right. I can't add anything to that. I mean, it's very obvious.
If you throw in an insanity defense, you may do your time in a hospital.
Yeah, I mean, the likelihood, I mean, if it's a registered sex offender, it's someone that's been prosecuted for sex offense before, and now, I don't know if that's going to be possible. It's now raising insanity defense on this crime.
Agree. Right now, everyone, CNN Heroes.